Good evening, and welcome back to another Unfiltered After Dark. This is episode 3. How should you be treated in relationships? Tonight, we're coming to you straight from Washington, D.C. I'm here for a work conference, so we might sound a little different tonight, but that's okay because we're raw and unfiltered. Tonight, I wanted to take some time to talk about something that affects almost everyone at some point in their lives: relationships. Not just romantic relationships, but the way we allow people to treat us, the standards we set, the things we tolerate, and the things that we shouldn't. Because somewhere along the way, many of us were taught how to love one another or how to love other people, but not how to recognize when we're not being loved properly in return. So tonight, we're getting real. Tonight, we're talking about how you should be treated in relationships. Let's start with a simple question. When was the last time you stopped and asked yourself, am I actually happy, or have I just become comfortable with being unhappy? Is that a hard question for some of you? A lot of people stay in relationships because they're invested years of their lives. Some stay because they're afraid to be alone. Some stay because they keep hoping things will go back to how they used to be, or they'll get better. But a healthy relationship shouldn't require you to consistently convince yourself that things aren't okay when they're not. A healthy relationship should bring peace more often than chaos. That doesn't mean there won't be disagreements. It doesn't mean there won't be difficult seasons in your relationship. But it does mean that respect should never disappear. Sitting down and having those uncomfortable conversations, asking or answering those uncomfortable questions, that's where it begins. More relationships need that, but both parties in that relationship have to be open and willingly to have those conversations. One thing I've learned is that love without respect isn't really love. Someone can tell you they love you 100 times a day, but if they're consistently belittling you, if they mock your dreams, if they make you feel small, if they dismiss your feelings, that's not respect. And without respect, the foundation eventually cracks. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to have your feelings acknowledged. You deserve to be able to express yourself without fear of being attacked. A relationship shouldn't feel like you're walking through a minefield every day. Being in a relationship that you feel the need to tiptoe around, no matter if it's being quiet in the mornings because the other one is sleeping, or they've tucked you out to do something and it's just not your thing, but you're trying to enjoy it. And they knew you wouldn't enjoy it. That's not okay. Let's talk about communication. Everyone says communication is important, but real communication isn't just talking. It's listening. It's understanding. It's caring enough about the other person's perspective to actually hear them. How many arguments happen because someone isn't listening? They're waiting for their turn to respond. They're preparing their defense. They're trying to win. There aren't supposed to be winners and losers. Relationships aren't supposed to be competitions. The goal should be understanding each other. When someone loves you, they want to understand you, not control you, not dominate you, but to understand you. In relationships, we should be each other's cheerleaders, rooting the other on to do better, to go further, not to give up. And that same kind of vibe should be given back to you. Here's another thing. You should never have to beg for basic effort. Let me say that again. You should never have to beg for basic effort. You shouldn't have to beg someone to spend time with you. You shouldn't have to beg for honesty. You shouldn't have to beg for affection. You shouldn't have to beg for communication. Now, every relationship requires work. But there's a difference between working together and carrying the entire relationship by yourself. If you're always the one calling, always the one apologizing, always the one fixing things, always the one sacrificing, eventually you're going to become exhausted. You're going to become burnt out. Relationships are partnerships, not a one-person job. We, as humans, we crave affection. We crave to be with someone else. So when you're in a relationship and your partner realizes it's a two-way street, it's going to be an easier relationship because they get it. And let me say, circling back to the beginning of this isn't just romantic relationships. This could be a friend relationship, your best friend, your coworker, your family, just any type of relationship. This episode should go hand in hand and help you deal with any type of relationship in your life at the moment, or any time in your life. If you're always the one making that phone call, because I always hear people say, well, she don't call me. Well, honey, when's the last time you called? Because it is a two-way street. It goes hand in hand. If I can call you, I'm not saying if I call you 3 times a week, I expect you to call me 3 times or more in the same week or the next week. No, if I call you 3 times and you at least call me 1 time that week, hey, that's good enough for me. That at least shows that, you're taking the time out of your time and your day to pick up that phone and do the same thing you're wanting that other person to do. Let's talk about consistency. One of the biggest red flags people ignore is inconsistency. Someone treats you wonderfully one week, but terrible the next. They're kind when they want something. They're attentive when they're afraid of losing you. Then they disappear once they feel secure again. Healthy love is consistent. Not perfect, but it's consistent. You shouldn't spend every day wondering which version of someone you're going to get. The loving version, the angry version, the distant version, the cold version. Healthy relationships create security, not confusion. And I will say, me and my husband, we have been together for a long time. Very, very long time. And, you know, there's days where I feel like something's wrong with him, but really he's just tired. He's just trying to chill out from his work week, or maybe we had too much family time the day before or something, just too much going on. And I get that because I need to decompress myself too as a person. So, and I still work on that because I'll ask my kids, my husband, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? But nothing will really be wrong with them. They just, but that's me as a mother, a wife. I just want to make sure all my babies are okay and everything's going good for them. Now let's discuss trust. Trust isn't built through promises. It's built through actions. Your actions always speak louder than your words. Remember that. Anybody can make promises. Anybody can say the right words. Trust comes from showing up repeatedly, doing what they say you'll do. And let me tell you, your word is everything. If you say you're going to be there for somebody, you better show the fuck up and be there for them. Because if not, you just belittled them. You lost a little bit of trust with them, a little bit of faith. And after not showing up so many times after you said you would, that don't matter to them after a while. It's your actions. They speak louder. Being honest, even when it's uncomfortable. Protecting the relationship when nobody is watching. Trust grows slowly. And once broken, it takes time and effort to rebuild. That's why honesty matters so much. The truth might hurt for a moment, but your lies will hurt for a lifetime. And I will say, for those of you listening who know me and my husband, we've been together for a very long time. I believe I just said that, but we've been together longer than most people wanted or even thought we would. Like, we beat those odds. I myself, and probably for him, we didn't think we'd even make it this long. Our relationship has been very rocky, very bumpy. And let me tell you something about trust. Um, Both of us have deceived each other, okay? We have both ruined that trust with one another. But because we were bound and determined to get right, get better, do better, be better, not only for ourselves, but for our family, our kids, we straightened up. You know, for a long time there, my husband had just, I had no trust in him. And I'm talking about not weeks, not days, not months. I'm talking years, people, years before I fully trusted him again. And I'm not, this is relationship wise, finance wise, just being truthful, faithful in general. It took years. And, he stuck to it and he proved himself to me. He kept his word to me. And now I don't question him. I don't think twice about anything he does, says, and nothing. He has proved himself to me. And let's not get it twisted. I ain't perfect. Shit. I've done my dues. I've ruined my trust. And I've gained my trust back. And I will never, ever do anything ever again to ruin that trust in my relationship. So, for anyone out there listening who is in a relationship of any kind at the moment and you know you're not trusted, but you want that trust back, keep working at it. Keep working at it. Stay consistent. Keep pushing. Keep showing up. Stay true to your word. I promise you, one day you will get there again. Another thing you deserve in a relationship is support. Your partner should celebrate your victories, not compete with them, not resent them, not minimize them, close you out like you're some internet window, but celebrate them with you. If you get a promotion, they should be proud, jumping for joy and celebrating with you. If you reach a goal, they should be more excited than you are for yourself. Your partner should be your hype man. If you're growing as a person, they should encourage it. Real love doesn't fear your growth. Real love helps water it. Like the flower we are. Because if someone is out there not rooting for you, not celebrating with you, for you, about you, what are they there for? Are they just using you? Let's be honest about something else. A lot of people confuse attention with love. Those are not the same thing. Someone can text you all day and still not care about you. Someone can shower you with compliments and still not respect you. Love is deeper than attention. Love is reliability. Love is commitment. Love is showing up during difficult times. Love is choosing someone even when life isn't easy. We're humans, right? We're not always going to be easy to deal with. Excuse my dogs, they are acting like fools. By the way, I'm back home now, back in Texas. Woo, woo. More than ever am I glad to be here. Because DC had no gas stations. You couldn't find out. Oh boy. It was a struggle. The struggle was real. I was homesick for Texas. So, Texas, you've got this northern girl proud to be a southern Texas girl now. I ain't never leaving. Back to what we were talking about. I forgot where we're at, guys. Dogs got me going. My bad, y'all. But your partner, your friend, your family, they should always be reliable. And I'm not saying always, be in your beck and call, because you might call and they be tied up to something they can't even leave, right? And we got to understand that. Things can't always be dropped and ran to us. But for certain, maybe an accident, death, things like that should be excusable. But depending on where that other person is, they might not be able to, unfortunately. So, it might have to be put on hold for a couple hours, and that's okay. But if someone can never show up for you at any point, for whatever reason, what are they really there in your life for? Are they there for you or for them? And here's something many people need to hear tonight. You do not have to earn basic human decency. You do not have to prove your worth. You do not have to become someone else to deserve respect. The right person won't require you to shrink yourself. They won't ask you to abandon your values. They won't make you feel like you're too much or not enough. They'll appreciate who you are, not who they want you to become. In any relationship, if someone's trying to change you to be somebody you're not, you might as well stop and walk away now. People need to accept who you are as a person and love you unconditionally no matter what. Um, People just need to do better. While I was in DC, I seen these protesters in front of the White House. And just reading that part, going through it, makes me think back of the signs, more love, not hate. Love, not war. Peace, not war. There's too much going on. Like, trying to change somebody for who they are because you don't like who they are. That's too much energy. If you don't like me for who I am, bye. Hit the rocks. Because I ain't changing for nobody. Sometimes the hardest relationship lesson is realizing that love alone isn't enough. You can love someone deeply and still recognize they're not healthy for you. You can care about someone and still understand that their staying is hurting you. That's one of the most painful truths many people ever face. Because walking away doesn't always mean you stopped loving them. Sometimes it means you finally started loving yourself first. Or just loving yourself, period. And I'm always telling people, because people will come and talk to me about relationship advice, and by no means am I an expert on relationships. Far from it. But I've been there, been through it, right? So you have to love yourself before you can love anybody else. Because if you don't, how do you know how to love somebody if you can't even love yourself? But sometimes letting somebody go that we love so much is probably best to do. It's what needs to be done. And if it comes back, then maybe it was meant to be, right? Maybe in that time of separation, that person worked on themselves. Maybe they start seeing a therapist, just doing something to do better. But just know, letting somebody go that you love deeply, it's okay. Now I want everyone to listening tonight to think about something. If your best friend came to you and described their relationship exactly the way yours is right now, what advice would you give them? Would you tell them to stay? Would you tell them to leave? Would you tell them they deserve better? Sometimes we're willing to accept treatment for ourselves that we'd never accept for the people we love. Think about that. If you're going through a rough patch in any type of relationship at the moment, and you're unsure what to do, step back. Repeat that question to yourself. Write it down and reread it. Write your answers down. Would you tell your best friend to stay? Or would you tell them it's time to let go? What's healthy? At the end of the day, healthy relationships aren't perfect. People make mistakes. People have bad days. People disagree. That's normal. What's not normal is constant disrespect, constant manipulation, constant emotional exhaustion, constant dishonesty. A healthy relationship should feel like a safe place, not a battlefield, a place where both people grow, a place where both people feel valued, a place where both people feel respected. If you can't sit down with your other person and have a conversation that includes disagreements and you can't talk it out and work it out, what is it going to be like in the future when you got to make bigger decisions? Like maybe buying a car, buying a house, um, where you're going to put your kids through school at, financial. It just your other person, whether it's your friend, your spouse, your coworker that you're close with, your family. If you can't even just go and sit in silence with that person or have a healthy conversation with them and still just be able to chill and Netflix the rest of the night, we'll say, is it really a relationship worth being in? As we wrap up tonight's episode, I want to leave you with this. You deserve honesty. You deserve consistency. You deserve communication. You deserve respect. You deserve kindness. You deserve effort. And most importantly, you deserve a relationship where you don't have to question your worth every single day. If nobody has told you lately, your value does not depend on how someone else chooses to treat you. Know your worth. Protect your peace. Set your standards and don't be afraid to set them high. And never apologize for expecting to be treated with respect. I hope I've helped someone. If you have questions, please leave a comment. We can talk privately. I can listen privately. I'm here to help others. I'm here to listen. I'm here to help others heal. So thank you. Thank you for joining me tonight on Unfiltered After Dark. Until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and remember, real love should never require you to lose yourself to keep someone else. Good night, people.